Hello everyone. So in this video we will learn how to add new Razorpay orders to ConvertKit and Google Sheets. So let us begin with a small example. So as you can see, we do have a payment page. Okay, so this is one payment page and this is another payment page. So we actually have two payment pages. Remember this, we have two payment pages. So the idea is that we are going to enter the details in both of these pages and the data will be collected in their respective Google Sheet. For example, we have a page that is to collect 150 rupees and the data of this particular page will be in this particular Google Sheet. Okay, similarly we have another payment page of 1300 and the data will be entered here in this Google Sheet. Okay, so we have two different Google Sheets. So let us begin. So we are going to start with the first one, that is 150 rupees. So these are the details. The name is 𝗪𝗵𝘆 𝗣𝗯𝗯𝗹𝘆, this is the email and this is the phone number. So a customer called as 𝗪𝗪𝗆 is making a payment of 150 rupees. Click on pay 150. Let's go with card. Okay, and this is the CVV. Click on pay 150. Skip saving card. Okay, so the payment is success. Okay, that's done. Okay, excellent. So a payment of 150 rupees has been made. So the idea is that the details of 𝗪𝗪𝗆, the customer who has made a payment of 150 rupees, will be available in Google Sheet. In this particular Google Sheet, Razorpay 150's sheet. Okay, so let's have a look. Yes, we do have the details. So this is the name, this is the email, this is the phone, this is the payment. That is 150. This is the payment ID, this is the order ID, and this is of course the transaction date. So we have got all the details. Now one more thing, let me just straight away take you to ConvertKit and let me just show you if we have a 𝗪𝗪𝗆. Let me just refresh this. Yes, we do have a subscriber called as 𝗪𝗪𝗆. Excellent. Now we are going to do the same with the 1300. Okay, so imagine a person called as 𝗪𝗪𝗆 Gomez is making a payment. So the first name is 𝗪𝗪𝗆, the last name is Gomez, this is the email, this is the phone number, and this is of course the amount, that is 1300. So let me just click on pay. Okay, so the payment is being made by a person called as 𝗪𝗪𝗆 Gomez. And this is the CVV. And let me just click on pay 1300. Skip saving card. Success. Okay, so a payment of 1300 is successful. So let's have a look. So this is the Google Sheet associated I have created for this particular payment, that is of 1300s. So as you can see, we do have the details. We have the name, that is 𝗪𝗪𝗆, then we have the email, then we have the phone, this is the payment, this is the payment ID, this is the order ID, and this is of course the transaction date. Now once again, let's have a visit to ConvertKit and let me just refresh ConvertKit. Okay, so the data hasn't arrived. Give it 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, so as you can see, after a delay, we have got the email address, that is of 𝗪𝗪𝗆 Gomez. Okay, the first name is 𝗪𝗪𝗆 and this is the email address, darburg123@gmail.com. So you're obviously thinking, how did I do it? How did I manage to send the data from Razorpay to ConvertKit and Google Sheets? So here I have used an integration and automation software called as Pabbly Connect that integrates Razorpay to ConvertKit and Google Sheets. Now the best part of using Pabbly Connect is there is actually no need for coding skills or programming knowledge. Let me show you the process. So in the new tab, just type pabbly.com, 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 press enter. Okay, so this is the website of pabbly.com. Just hover on products and here you will find Connect. Just click on Connect. Okay, so this is the landing page of Pabbly Connect. Just click on sign in. Okay, so this is the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. As you can see, I already have made an account in Pabbly Connect. You can also create your own free account in just 2 minutes. Let me just scroll down and here you will find Connect. Just click on Access Now. Okay, so at the top right corner, you will find a button, Create Workflow. Click this. A dialog box appears in front of you. It is asking you to give a name to this workflow. I'm going to give it as Razorpay to Google Sheets to ConvertKit. And let me just click on create. So when you click on create, you will find 2 windows, the trigger window as well as the action window. Now using these 2 windows, we are going to create a workflow to integrate Razorpay, Google Sheets and ConvertKit. Now you should know this. I will add the link of this workflow in the description box so that you can clone it and directly access it into your account. Okay, so we have to select the app. So I'm going to select the app as Razorpay because we want to send the data from Razorpay. That is why. Now we have to mention the trigger event. How about we make it as order paid? Okay, so the trigger event is order paid. So you're obviously thinking, what is a trigger event? Trigger is basically a if statement. It asks a question: if this condition is met, what should be done? For example, if a new order is made in Razorpay, then what action should be taken by the system? Now we do have a bunch of trigger events like invoice paid, payment captured, payment failed, payment dispute won, and so and so. Now in case if you want more trigger events, go to the help section, click here, and you will be straight away directed to Pabbly forums. And Pabbly forums, you can make a request that you want so and so trigger events. Let me just cancel this. So basically this is the gist. We are just trying to integrate Razorpay to Pabbly Connect to receive the data when a new order is made. So let's have a visit to Razorpay. So this is my Razorpay account. Now scroll down and here you will find settings. At the left bottom you will find settings. Click on settings. So as you can see, I have already added 2 webhooks. Okay, so here you have to select webhooks, and in my case I have already added 2 webhooks. Now for your consideration, I'm going to create a new webhook. Okay, so first we have to enter the webhook URL, and this is how you do it. You go to Pabbly Connect and copy this. This is the webhook URL you want. Copy this and simply paste it here. Excellent. And then we have to enter the secret. Nope, we don't have to enter the secret, just leave it as blank. The alert email is basically the email with which you have signed in to your Razorpay account. Let's ignore that also. Now this is perhaps the most important part, the active event. Now the active event is order paid. You just click on this checkbox, okay, and just click on create webhook. So it is showing the webhook has been saved successfully. Excellent. So this is the recently created one. Now what's next? So let us have a look in Pabbly Connect. Yes, it is showing it is waiting for the data. So what we are going to do here is we are going to make a dummy purchase in Razorpay. Now remember this. Here we have to set up 2 routes. Okay, so the first route will be if the payment is made for 150 rupees, and the second is if the payment is made for 1300 rupees. Okay, now if you have more variations, such as if you want to make a payment of 2000, when a customer makes a payment of 2000 or 3000, 10,000, so according to the payment types, you will have to create more routes. In my case, I have only 2 options, that is 150 as well as 1300. That is why I'm going to set up 2 routes. So let's start with the easy one. Let's start with the 150. Okay, it doesn't matter which amount it is, both are easy. Okay, don't shy away from it. So what we are going to do here is, first of all, so we are going to click on payment pages. Okay, and we are just going to click on buy t-shirts online. I think this is the one for 150. Okay, so let it load. Okay, let me just copy this and open this in a new tab. So this is the payment URL. Okay, so this is the checkout page for 150. Okay, so this is going to be our first route. So imagine a person called as Thomas Grease is making the payment. So these are his details, and let me just add his phone number. Okay, and let me just click on pay. So he's going to use his card, and this is the card details. Let me enter the CVV and let me just click on pay. Skip saving card and success. Okay, so a payment of 150 rupees has been made by a person called as Thompson Grease. Now the idea is that since Pabbly Connect is integrated with Razorpay, this data will be captured by Pabbly Connect. So let's have a look. Yes, the data has arrived. So we have the event as order paid. Okay, now there is something you have to see. The order payment was of 150 rupees, but unfortunately it is giving 15,000 or something. Now this is kind of wrong. The problem is that the decimal is not showing. Okay, so that is why 2 extra zeros has been added. We will deal with that later. We are actually going to remove these 2 extra zeros. Okay, don't worry about that. So let me just scroll down and let me show you the details. So we have the person, that is Thompson Grease, and then we have the email. So this is the email, thompson123virdi@gmail.com. So, and of course this is his phone number. Okay, excellent. So we have got all the details. Now as I mentioned before, we are going to split the data into 2 streams, the one for the payment of 1500 and the other for the payment of 13,000 or 1300. Okay, I'm sorry, the payment will be split into 2 parts, one for the payment of 150 rupees and the other for the payment of 1300. So what we're going to do here is we are going to introduce routers. Okay, so this is how you do it. You introduce routers. So as you can see, when we click here, it is already showing in the icon we have to make two or three routes. Okay, so this is the data and it is splitting into two streams. So likewise, we are going to split it into two streams. Now, if you have many other payment options, like you have 5 payment option, let's say the payment of 10 rupees, 150 rupees, 2000 rupees, 1300 rupees, or 50,000 rupees. So you have 5 payment option. So in addition to these two routes, you have to add 3 more routes, a total of 5 routes, and you have to individually create conditions for that. So it is actually pretty easy. So let us start with the first route. So what we are going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to rename this. So I'm going to rename this as rupees 150. Okay, payment. Easy. And let me just click on update. Rupees 150 payment. Now we are going to click on set filter and actions tab. Okay, so first of all, we have to select the label. So this is the label. The order that has been paid is of 150 rupees. Now in this case, it is showing it as 15,000. Okay, it's just the same. Just deal with me. Okay, so is equal to 15,000. Okay, remember this. The payment of 15,000 is equal to 15,000. Now remember this. This is the case for 150. In our case, we have 150 as 15,000. Just bear with me. Okay, so let me just click on save and send test request. So this is the first case. Now this is actually showing the status as success, which is actually true. The payment of 15,000 is equal to 15,000. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is we are going to basically trim the amount. Okay, so as you can see, we have the problem that we have 2 extra zeros. So we are going to trim this amount, and this is how you do it. You just click here. Okay, so now you have the action window. Now here you're going to select the choose app as API by Pabbly. Okay, so this is the one you want, API by Pabbly. So the idea is that we are going to trim the amount that is 15,000 to 150. We are going to remove that extra 2 zeros. Now the action event, let's keep it as get. Now we are going to deal with the endpoint URL. So I'm not going to get into much details. All you have to do is just copy this. Okay, so this is the URL you want. You copy this and paste it here. So you're obviously thinking where I'm going to find this endpoint URL. Well, I will add this in the description box. Okay, now we have to set the parameters. Let's make it as amount, and here we are going to enter the value. Now the value, if you remember correctly, it is 15,000. We have to trim it to 150. So this is how you do it. Just scroll down and you just basically map the amount, and it has been mapped. Easy. Just click on save and send test request. Okay, so the response is positive. So as you can see, the amount has been trimmed to 150. Excellent. Now what we are going to do here is we are going to enter the payment details to ConvertKit as well as Google Sheet. So let's deal with the easy one. So first we are going to send the data to ConvertKit. Now there is a reason why we are going to send the data to ConvertKit. You will understand in a minute. So we are just going to click on this plus button. So when we click on this plus button, we will have another action window, and here we are going to mention it as ConvertKit. Now, if you just want a simple integration between Razorpay and Google Sheet, you can just avoid this. Okay. So ConvertKit it is. Now in the action event, how about we make it as tag a subscriber, and let me just click on connect. Now we have to enter the API key as well as the API secret. So to get the API key as well as the API secret of ConvertKit, let's have a visit to ConvertKit. So what we're going to do here is, this is the ConvertKit account. I'm just going to click on account settings, click this. Okay, so this is the account settings. Let me just scroll down. So this is my API key. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. Easy. Then we have the API secret. So this is the API secret. Let me just click on show and we have the API secret. Okay, so I have removed the privacy. I have copied the API secret and I have pasted it here. Let me just click on save. Okay, so after that, we will have a set of fields, the email as well as the first name. Now this is basically the tag that is awesome. Now we can actually work around the tags by creating more tags in ConvertKit. You obviously know that, but I'm happy with this tag. That is awesome. So in case if you want to change it, you can change it accordingly. I'm just going to, how about we just make it as pink? Okay, and let's enter the name. Okay, so we are going to enter the name that is, the email that is Thompson Grease or something. This is the one. Okay, and we have mapped it. Easy. And once again, we are just going to enter the first name. So this is the first name. So the first name was Thompson. Yes, Thompson Grease, and we have mapped it. So we have entered the email. We have entered the first name. We have also set the tag as pink. Now again, I repeat, this is totally up to you. You can create more tags in ConvertKit, and those tags will be reflected here. Excellent. So all we have to do at this point is just click on save and send test request. So this subscription ID we have, excellent, the subscription that was created. Now this date is actually pretty important. Okay, so let me just go there to ConvertKit and let me just have a look at the subscribers. Do we have a Thompson Grease? Yes, we do have a Thompson Grease. Excellent. Now let's deal with the second part, that is we are going to send all this data to Google Sheet. So once again, we are just going to click on this plus button. Okay, so we are going to select the app as Google Sheets. Google Sheets it is. This is the one. Okay, so now we have to select the action event as add new row. So you're obviously thinking, why add new row? So the idea is that, as you can see, I have created a new Google Sheet called as Razorpay paid 150. Okay, so we have the columns like name, email, phone, payment ID, order, and transaction date. So the cells under each of these columns will be filled and a new row will be created, and that is why we have the action event as add new row. Okay, so let me just click on connect. So we are going to go with the add new connection because we are connecting it for the first time. So that is why new connection. So just click on connect with Google Sheets, and we have a series of Gmail accounts. Now I'm interested in this particular account. The reason is that this particular Google Sheet, that is Razorpay paid 150, is present in this account. So we are selecting this one. Okay, so now it is asking me to confirm my choice. So before I press allow, let me tell you something. Pabbly Connect doesn't take any chances with your data. Your data is 100% safe and secure with us. So on the basis of that trust, let me just press allow. Authorization successful, just press OK. So by default, it is showing Razorpay paid 1300. We don't want that. We want this sheet, that is Razorpay 150. We have another sheet that is Razorpay 1300. We want Razorpay 150. So this is how you change it. You click here, and we have the sheet that is Razorpay paid 150. Now these are all the spreadsheet that is present in my Gmail account. Now I am interested in this particular account, that is Razorpay paid 150. We select this. Now we have to select this particular sheet. Now as you can see, we have only one sheet in this particular spreadsheet, that is sheet 1. So by default it is already showing sheet 1. We don't have to change it. So let's start mapping. So this is how you map it. So we have to enter the name of the customer. You click here, and from the first accordion, okay, so this is the first accordion. So we select here, and we have the name of the person. I'm sorry, where is the name of the person? Nope, yeah. So this is the name of the person, that is Thompson Grease. Excellent. We have the email. So this is the email. If you remember correctly, it was Thompson Grease, okay, 123virti@gmail.com. Then we have to map the phone number. So let me just scroll down once again, and yes, this is the phone number, and we have mapped it. Now the payment. The payment was made of 150. Now here in the first accordion, it is going to give the data as 15,000. I'm sorry, 15,000. Now this is actually wrong. We want the data from here. Okay, so because we have actually trimmed the amount to 150, and this is the correct data. Excellent. Then we have the payment ID. Let's go to the first accordion once again, and this is the payment ID. We have mapped it. This is the order ID, and this is the unique order ID, and that has been mapped. And let's explore the transaction date. Now in case of Razorpay, it is not giving any kind of a transaction date or transaction time, but the way around is, if you are already going to invert ConvertKit, you just click on ConvertKit, and the time this process happened is basically the time when the transaction happened in Razorpay, just nearly equal, just a matter of difference of seconds. We can just ignore it. So when the Razorpay transaction happened, at the same time the subscription was created in ConvertKit. So that is why I'm just going to go to ConvertKit, okay, and we are just going to map this particular date. Okay, so this is the date or the time. So all you have to do at this point is just click on save and send test request to send this data to this particular Google Sheet, Razorpay paid 150. So the response is a positive one. So let's have a look. Yes, we do have the details. So the name is Thompson Grease, this is the email, this is the phone, this is the payment ID, this is the order ID, and of course we have got the transaction date. So we have dealt with the first condition, that is if the payment was made of 150 rupees. Now what if the payment was made of 1300? So for that I have created a new Google Sheet, that is Razorpay paid 1300. So let's deal with that. So basically we are going to repeat the same process that we had done earlier with payment of 150. So once again, let me just go to Pabbly Connect. Let me just click on this done. Okay. And once again, I'm just going to click on this button, recapture webhook response. Now this is a tricky part. Just observe, just click on yes. Okay. So it is showing it is waiting for the data. Now what we are going to do here is we are going to make a payment of 1300. Okay. So this is the checkout page for 1300 if I remember. And I'm just going to copy the payment URL and going to open this in a new tab. So let's explore if this is the payment page for yes, this is for 1300. Now we are going to enter a different set of details. So the person's name is Matthew, the last name is Perry, and then we have the email as michaelkaras481@gmail.com. So let me just change it to Matthew Perry. It's dummy details anyway. So this is the phone number and this is the amount. Let me just click on pay. So a payment of 1300 is going to be made by a person called as Matthew Perry. So these are his credit card details. Let me just click on pay, skip scanning card, success. So a payment of 1300 is made by a person called as Matthew Perry. Now we are going to do the same process once again with the thing that we had done earlier with the 150. We are going to do the exact same thing. Okay, so as you can see, we do have the response. Now unfortunately it is showing the payment amount as 1,30,000, but if you remember correctly, the payment was of 1300. We actually have to trim the amount. We actually have to remove these two extra zeros. We will deal with that later. Now in case of routers, okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to introduce the second route. Okay, so we're just going to rename it. So rename it as rupees 1300 payment. Now I think the things are getting more clearer to you. Okay, so we have two routes, payment of 150 and the payment of 1300. So just click on set filter and action step. We are just going to do the same step over and just once again. Now if you have more payment options like let's say a payment of 2000, 4000, 6000 or any other denomination, you will have to keep creating as many routes. Okay, so in my case there were only two routes, that is 150 as well as 1300. So this is the last one, that is the payment of 1300. So the payment is made of 1300, but in case here it is showing it as 1,30,000. Okay, so we are going to deal with that later. Okay, so let me just click on save and send test request. Yes, now the payment is equal to 1,30,000. So which is actually true when, so that is why when I click on save and send test request, it will show the status as success. The condition is true. Now we are going to trim the amount. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are going to use API by Pabbly. So this is the action we are going to use, API by Pabbly, to trim the amount. The action event, you have to keep it as get. Just follow the step, that's all you have to do. And in the endpoint URL, you just basically copy this endpoint URL. Okay, and this endpoint URL, I'll make sure that you add in the description. I will add in the description box so that you can just copy it. Now in the authentication, let me just click on set parameters, amount. I'm just going to type it as amount, and we are going to mention the amount, that is 1,30,000, and we have mapped it. So all you have to do is at this point, just click on save and send test request to send this data. I may not send this data to just to trim the amount. So as you can see, we have trimmed the amount. We have the trim value, that is 1300, the exact value, the value that we want. Okay, so now we are going to tag a subscriber in ConvertKit. Okay, so we are just going to introduce one more window, and this window will deal with ConvertKit. So ConvertKit it is. Okay, ConvertKit. Now in the action event, how about we make it as tag a subscriber? Just click on connect. Now we have to enter the API key as well as the API secret. Now this time I'm not going to enter all those details because we have entered it once. So I'm just going to click on set choose existing connection, and we are going to choose the existing connection, that is the recent one. Okay, so this is the recent one, #6. So the last one is the recent one, and let me just click on save. Okay, so we have fields once again, tag that is awesome, email, and the first name. In this case, I'm going to make sure that the tag is of awesome. Okay, the last time it was of pink. Now I repeat this again. If you want more tags, you just create here in ConvertKit, which I'm not going to do at this point because it's just clumsy, too much. It will take too much time. Now we have the email. So this is how you map the email. So let me just scroll down. Okay, so this is the email 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗯𝗯𝗪. Okay, so this is the email and we have mapped it. Then let me just add the first name. So if you remember correctly, the first name was 𝗪𝗆𝗪 or the full name was 𝗪𝗆𝗪. So let me just scroll down. Okay, so we have the first name, that is Matthew. We have entered it. Let me just click on save and send test request to create or tag a subscriber. Okay, so the response is positive. So let's have a look. So let me just refresh ConvertKit. So let's explore. Yes, we do have a Matthew, and this is the email 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗆481@gmail.com. Excellent. So next step, we are going to deal with Google Sheet. So once again, we are just going to click on this plus button. Now we are going to send the data to this particular Google Sheet, Razorpay paid 1300. So this is how you do it. In the choose app, you're just going to select the app as Google Sheets. This one we select here. Now in the action event, how about we make it as add new row? I have already made it clear why we have make the action event as add new row. Just click on connect. Okay, so just click on connect with Google Sheets. Okay, just go with Aaron. So this is the email account in which the Google Sheet is present. Let me just press allow. I think the authorization is success. Okay. So by default, it is showing Razorpay paid 150. This is the Google Sheet for Razorpay 150, but we want this one Razorpay 1300. So we are going to change it to Razorpay 1300. Okay, paid 1300, and by default, it is showing the select sheet as sheet 1. We are not going to change it because there is only one sheet, that is sheet 1. Okay, now we have to enter the name. So this is how you map the name. So you click here and the name was 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗆. Let me just scroll down. Okay, 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗆. Let me just check we have the full name. Okay, 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗆, Matthew. And let me just enter the full name by entering the last name also. So the last name was Perry. Okay, we have mapped it. So we have the email. So in case if you remember, the email was 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗆481 something. Okay, and we have mapped it. So this is the phone number of 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗆. Once again, let me just scroll down. Okay, we have mapped it. Then we have the payment. Now this is a tricky one. If you remember, we had trimmed the amount and the trimmed amount can be gotten from here. So this is the one we are looking for and we have mapped it. Then we have the payment ID. So this is how you map the payment ID and we have mapped it. So it's just a process of mapping all the details. It's pretty easy. It's pretty fun. Okay, and this is the order ID. We have mapped it. Now in case of transaction ID, if you remember correctly, Razorpay wasn't giving any kind of transaction ID, and that is why we have planned to enter the subscription ID, subscription time. Okay, so this is the subscription time. Let me just scroll down. Okay, let me just show you the subscription time in from ConvertKit. So it was created. Yes, this is the one and we have mapped it. So at this point, all you have to do is just click on save and send test request to send this detail to this particular Google Sheet. So let's have a look. Yes, we have the person 𝗪𝗆𝗪𝗆. This is the email, this is the phone, this is the payment, this is the payment ID, this is the order, and this is of course the transaction date. We have got all the details. Excellent. So the presence of this transaction details in this particular Google Sheet and this particular Google Sheet shows that we have a successful integration between Razorpay, ConvertKit as well as Google Sheet. So before you leave, let me just explain you the whole mechanism once again in a nutshell. So let me just click on this done. Okay. So first of all, you have integrated Razorpay to Pabbly Connect and then you have created a new dummy order. So the first order was of 150 rupees. Okay, and after that you have made sure that you created two routes. The first route is for 150 and the second route is for 1300. Now we are going to see the routes. Okay, so in the first route we had the filter as of 1500. I'm sorry, 15,000. This is because it was already giving two extra zeros. Then we had trimmed that amount to 150. Okay, so as you can see right now it is showing the payload entity amount is 1,30,000. This is because the recent payment is of 1300. Okay, and that is why it has stopped all these action windows, because we had applied the filter that it should be only of 15,000. Okay, so we have fixed that. So we have that is why the action event in these two action windows, it is showing this wrong sign. Okay, this is because the data hasn't flowed here. Now let me explain you in case of 1300. Okay, so we just click here. So once again, we had set the filter of 1300 if the payment is of 1300. As you can see, the payment here, it is not showing any null sign because the payment is of 1300 and it is according to the condition. Okay. So then we have the action window for the API that we have trimmed the amount. And after that, you have tagged the subscriber and then you have created a new row in Google Sheet. So basically now we have a perfect flow of data between Razorpay, Google Sheets and ConvertKit. So if you like this video, please comment, share and subscribe. If you have any queries, please visit our website www.pabbly.com. It's awesome.